What do you do when you realize that half of the cabinets you installed were blue and half were white? Well, you ask YouTube, of course. Today I'm going to show you the before and almost after of the kitchen in the house I purchased for $9,000 in Spain. I'll tell you what I love about it, adjustments I've made, and I'll go over the cost of each line item as well. Thank you for being right here. Hi, my name is Nicole. Welcome to my channel, Travel to Money, where I share about how to travel, adventure, and have fun on the road to financial independence, especially if that road is leading you to Spain. Okay, let's jump in and take a look at what we were dealing with in the kitchen when I first purchased the home. To be fair, I could have just cleaned it up and made a few changes, but I really wanted something a bit more modern. One of my goals as I think about the design of this house is to mix a bit of modern with some Spanish influence. And when we first got here, the kitchen to me was probably the most obvious area I was going to want to change. A few people loved the cherry tiles, but I'm so sorry they had to go. So let's start from the ground up. After removing everything from the kitchen, we talked a lot about layout options. It's not the biggest kitchen in the world, so we wanted to do what we could to make the most of the space. I knew that I wanted to use the same tile on the floor throughout the entire house, so that was easy because at least we were starting with something. My contractor laid the tiles in the kitchen. From there, I needed to make a decision about the tiles on the walls of the kitchen and the countertops. This took me a while to decide. There really are just so many options. For the wall tiles, I ended up going with a gray look, square tile, and thin grout lines. The tiles themselves were €370. Part of the reason I decided on the gray wall tiles was because of my decision on the countertops. I had been told how cheap granite countertops would be here in comparison to places like the UK and the US. So I got a couple of quotes on different granite and quartz options. But to be honest, I was a little floored by the price. It was going to cost between €3,000 and €4,000. That's literally the same cost as the brand new roof on the house. In this house, I've gone way over what I initially budgeted. This is in part because when we started, I thought we were only replacing the roof and remodeling the kitchen, but it has turned out to be so much more than that. And the other part is because I'm trying to make it exactly how I want it to be. Since I'm going to be living in it, I've been okay with spending more in certain areas to really get what I want. However, I'm not someone with unlimited means, so the countertops are one of a few areas where I decided to go a different direction in order to cut costs. What I ended up going with were some oak effect laminate countertops from IKEA. I purchased 4 of a shorter length for €100 each and 2 that were a bit longer for €119 each. This was more than what we needed for just the countertops because I also decided that I wanted shelves on the walls instead of upper cabinets so that it keeps this small kitchen looking a bit more open. So for the shelving, we're going to cut the countertops in half down the middle. For hanging the shelves, I'm purchasing some beautiful shelving brackets on Amazon that I felt were better looking than some of the straight-edged, more modern brackets. These are some of the little touches that I believe make it look a bit more Spanish. By the way, I know I just mentioned Amazon. It feels kind of like a new thing here and maybe not the most cultural way to go about making purchases, but I've got to say it's one thing that seems to move very rapidly in Spain. That being said, Spain isn't really the kind of place where you leave packages on a doorstep for multiple reasons, but Amazon has a ton of pickup points at various businesses in each town. I think it's super convenient. I'll be showing you a few more Amazon items in the kitchen as we go along. So back to the countertops. All of the IKEA countertops and shelving included came to less than 1/4 what I would have paid for the granite, and I actually really love the look. I personally am a fan of neutral earthy colors. That's why I decided on the gray walls with the medium brown countertops. With the shelving on the walls and the black brackets, I think it will really pop in a warm way. We also took some of the same tiles that we used on the feature wall in the bathroom and put those on display in the little window bar opening. For the cabinets and the bones of the cabinets, we purchased all of that from Leroy Merlin, which is a hardware store similar to Lowe's or Home Depot in the US. I wanted the cabinets to have a bit of molding, so we went with the Oxford design. For the fronts of all the cabinets, the spice racks, and the drawers, the total was €520. Spice rack drawers were €47 each, and after a discount, I got the two of them for about a total of €80. You'll hear me mention a few discounts that I received at Leroy Merlin for being a club member. It's like any other loyalty program. You can earn points for discounts as well. If you're renovating a house in Spain, I'd be sure to sign up for that. The two larger drawers were €70 each, and after a discount of about €20, I paid about €120 for the two of them. The smaller drawer was about €50, and after a $7.50 discount, I got that one for $42.50. We moved the small drawer underneath the stove, and we'll need to get another one for the top of the set of drawers. The white side panels for the cabinets are €50 each. The shells of the cabinets, or as my contractor calls them, the carcasses, came to €212. So my total for all of the cabinets was €1,117. Now, that doesn't include smaller items like hinges or other random things we had to purchase. It also doesn't include labor. I haven't been able to track my labor costs specific to projects because sometimes my contractor is jumping back and forth between projects each day, depending on what is going on. So when we're done with everything and do a final pricing video for the whole house, I'll have a total estimate for labor. Okay, moving on to some of the other items. The sink, faucet, and light fixture all came from Leroy Merlin. The sink was €180. The faucet was €60, and the light fixture I got for €40. Now, let's talk about appliances. I decided to go with Amazon since I knew the delivery would be free, and I actually liked their options quite a bit. I went with what they refer to here as an American fridge, as it is a bit bigger. I actually don't have a problem with European refrigerators that are a bit smaller and find them to be sufficient. However, we had the space in the kitchen for a fridge that would be a bit bigger. This refrigerator I purchased in a stainless steel color for just €529. It is a side-by-side holding 169 liters on the left in the freezer and 261 liters on the right for the refrigerator section. It is equipped with a holiday mode where you can optimize energy consumption when you'll be away for longer periods of time. For me, when I'm not here for months, I unplug the refrigerator and open up the doors to let it air out. But it's nice to know it has a holiday mode option. It also has a digital display on the front so that you can manage the temperature and settings without having to open the doors to see what it feels like. All in all, I'm really pleased. The oven, I decided to go with electric from the brand Candy, which is a common brand here in Spain. It's not the most massive oven you'll ever see, but with 70-liter capacity, it will get the job done. This stainless steel oven, well rated on Amazon, I purchased for €167. Now, the only appliance in the house that I decided to operate on gas instead of electric is the stove. There's just nothing like cooking on a gas stove. In Spain, instead of having gas lines run to your home, you run everything off of gas bottles. Since we knew from the beginning that I wanted a gas stove, we kept the cabinet to the right of the oven open to hold a gas bottle. If you were using a lot of gas in your home in Spain, you could arrange for regular deliveries of gas bottles, but honestly, they last a really long time and are easy to swap out at a local gas station when you need one. After 6 years of living here on and off, I've only swapped out 2 or 3 bottles. Anyhow, this Pego stainless steel gas stove with 4 burners from Amazon was just €98. This is another really common brand in Spain. Now, one other change I've decided to make was deciding not to have the washing machine inside of the kitchen, or the house for that matter. This space here was initially supposed to be the spot where the washer went. I'll show you in another video where we've decided to put the washing machine, but as far as the kitchen goes, we'll be adding another set of cabinets here or moving the drawers to this side and installing cabinets on the other side. I will say that as far as storage space in the kitchen, a set of drawers is a lot more expensive than just putting in a cabinet with a single shelf inside. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video that some of the cabinet doors were mistakenly ordered in blue. When installed, we thought this was just the film on the front because each cabinet comes with a protective film. So I do have a decision to make. I can either keep the blue or go with the white as I had initially intended. It's hard to decide because I really like both of them, just not together. So let me know in the comments which one you think looks better and help me to make that decision. I think I'm leaning toward the white, but would love to know your thoughts. In addition to swapping out those cabinets, other things we still need to do in the kitchen are adding the shelving, fixing the hole in the ceiling, putting a seal around the kitchen sink, and I guess that's it. We're really close. You'll have to check back when I do a full house interior video to see what the kitchen looks like with shelving, so be sure to subscribe. Okay, so the total of everything I've spent that I covered today is €2,987. That probably means that my kitchen total with labor is around $5,000. Of course, I'll still need to buy pots and pans, dishes, and other bits and bobs, as my English friends like to say. When I was here at the market last time, I purchased these really cool old jars at one of my favorite markets. I can't wait to get everything in here and decorate. Well, speaking of markets, I should probably head out to one. Be sure to check out this playlist right here for everything about this renovation on my $9,000 house in Pego, Spain.